Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Vita Luca, and today I'm hoping to give you an expectation of the realities of finding a job in Prague as a foreigner. So this could either be before you moved here or after you were already here, but I'm leaving you some places that you can look for in the description box as to where you can look for jobs as foreigners or expats, or even just as Czechs. Like they got stuff for you guys too. So if you're looking for a job, you can just check out the places below. And I'm hoping that I can help you and be more helpful than hurtful. And as a disclaimer, I've only worked in recruitment for 1 month. So it's not like I have any experience here, and I don't want to brag when I say this, but like I've managed to get jobs in the Czech Republic. I want to give you more expectations of what kind of jobs will be available to you and like before you move here, so that hopefully you can make the better decision as to whether you want to move here or not. And then also, I have some tips at the end of the video that might be helpful to you finding a job. Might be helpful because, at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to you, your merit, your skills, and your ability to sell yourself. If you can't sell yourself, or you are even applying for jobs that you're not qualified for, there's a good chance you're not going to get a job. And so we're going to touch into that. But because I'm a native English speaker, I'm going to start off with what to expect as a native English speaker in your job markets here. And you've kind of got the outsourcing of UK opportunities to the Czech Republic so they can pay you less kind of jobs. And you've got English teaching. So let's just start off with English teaching. English teaching pays pretty well, actually. From all the job adverts that I've seen, they pay like above average. Like, I don't know what the work entails, but at least the pay is above average. I don't know how many hours you'll put in, but the pay is above average. And I know lots of people who actually enjoy teaching here. And I know lots of Canadians who do it. Actually, most of the Canadians that I know do it. But yeah. So typically to get into teaching English here, most jobs require a TEFL certificate, TEFL. You will need that. And then some of them require a bachelor's degree in something. Not all of them. I have seen some where they actually don't require either of those. And they're just really looking for someone to help and assist, and they'll be teaching you on how to teach their demographic, whatever they've got, whether it's children, adults, whomever it is. They'll teach you on how to teach them. They'll give you a curriculum, everything. Because also part of planning, like part of teaching is you might have to plan your own curriculum. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how many hours you'll put in, but they pay higher than average than like other jobs. So that's just a like FYI. It just depends on where you're looking and who you're applying for. Now, if you're going to be looking at like a nursery or like a young elementary school age children group thing, then you might also need experience with children and teaching children, and maybe even incorporating learning English into games. So it just depends on where you're looking, but for native English speakers, teaching is like a huge thing. And that goes for Czechs too. If you're a Czech, you can go into teaching Czech. Those are probably the two biggest ones that I've seen here, but there are lots of like contractors like OSVČs who teach their languages, and like they'll just advertise themselves being like, hey, I'm going to be like teaching Spanish. I'm going to be teaching Italian. I'm going to be teaching Russian. If anybody's interested, like let me know. And then you set your own rates, you set your own thing. So it doesn't have to be just for native English speakers, but that's kind of like a reality that needs to settle in. If that's like your life goal and you just want to help people learn English, then you have all these options. And another option for you as well is going into being a contractor and you advertising yourself out saying, oh, yep, I'm teaching English. This is my set wage for this amount of minutes, hours, whatever, whether it's in person, whether you want like a curriculum set for you, whatever it is, you can plan it. You can charge your own prices. You can be your own boss, basically. So there's that option. Then for the other side of like, being outsourced for a UK company, these don't tend to bring the best working conditions. Pay can be like okay and average, but the working conditions aren't that great. Like they could be better. They're not awful, but they could be better. And a lot of the people that work there aren't happy at the end of the day. But there are others who are. So it really just depends if whether it's for you and if you actually enjoy what you're doing. Because I know a few that are like call center based. So if you like cold calling people, then that could be great for you. There's others that do like insurance. And if you're into that, then it can be great for you. And, neither one are bad. It's just what you prefer and what you enjoy doing. And if you don't like doing what I said that you're going to be doing, well then, yeah, that's just how it's going to be. Then you could go off into recruiting for that kind of bits. It's just a lot in the customer service range for the outsourcing of jobs in the UK. And yeah, there's a few companies that do it. I can leave them in the description box below if you want them. Though someone give me a comment about that first before I do that. I don't want to call out any companies and give them employees if nobody wants them. And I'm not going to get into hospitality within this video because the market's kind of dead, but they kind of just look for everybody. Really. Yeah, that's what it is. The hospitality and restaurant market kind of just always looked for anybody. They'll pick a language that they want someone to have, and it'll typically be a language and English or even just English, but you don't have to be a native English speaker, just know English. And then, yeah, they'll be I need a barista, I need a server, I need hotel people, cleaners, whatever. All of those industries kind of dead right now. But they really were just looking for anybody and everybody. Though a lot did want you to have some type of hotel management education or just experience. So then the other jobs that I see advertised that aren't for native English speakers are around the languages of Czech or Slovak. German is a big one. French, Spanish, Dutch occasionally, and Italian occasionally. Those are the ones that I see a lot. There'll be the occasional other European languages. Oh, and Norwegian. Norwegian's another one that I see a lot. And sometimes they'll ask for other Nordic languages like Swedish or Danish. But for some weird reason, it's always Norwegian that I see everywhere. But basically any EU language, you'll be able to find a job. As long as you have an EU language, typically you can find something somewhere. And then if you speak an EU language with English, then yeah, you'll be fine. It'll be easier for you to find a job than for a native English speaker who doesn't want to teach English. It's not that hard. Whether you actually have the experience and you're qualified to do the job might be a different story, but there's lots of jobs advertised for your languages. So, just saying. But if your language is Irish or Gaelic, yeah, you won't find those jobs. You'll have to go off of English. So you'll be able to find a job in any sector as long as you're qualified for it and you're able to sell yourself well, then you should do fine at finding something. And if you were in the hospitality sector previously, if you can take your skills and be okay, this is what I know how to do, and you can find jobs that also look for those skills, well, then maybe you can just do that. And then somehow just formulate your experiences kind of to match to what they're looking for. And you do also have to realize whether you should look into before you get here if your education will transfer over. Because I know if I were to get my CPA in Canada and I were to come here, I could most likely work for a company. I could probably find a company that would be willing to hire me. But I would not be able to be a contractor on my own without passing a test. And the test would be in Czech. So I would not only, A, have to have the education, but I would also then, B, have to know Czech IFRS, Czech GAAP, and then also be able to have accounting knowledge in the Czech language, know what everything is in Czech, and then I'd have to take a test. And then pass and show my knowledge. And then they'd let me be a contractor and I could work that way. So just be aware of that. Your education may not transfer over for certain things. You may not be able to do much, but hopefully you'll be able to find something. Now, for the tips to help you find a job. For the first thing, the most important thing is, as much as you would want to do it, please don't do this. Don't give your CV to everybody. Don't do that. Don't just give your CV to everybody. Just don't. No. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of the person who's receiving it. It's a waste of everybody's time and you could get blacklisted for it. So don't do it. Take your CV, tailor it to what you're looking for, what you want to do, or even you find a job that you want to do, tailor your CV to that. Of course, make it be honest. Don't take something like, I want to be a doctor, and then lie on your CV about everything and then hand that out. No. Take something that's reasonable, that you actually know what you can do, make your CV fit that job, put in relevant experience that you've had doing those things, and then apply for that job. And then also research that company. Make sure that you know pieces of them. You have a reason as to why you'd like to work for them, whatever they said on their website, or whether you know somebody who works for them and they really enjoy it. Like, have your reasoning as to why you want to work for them, because they can tell. If you aren't good at hiding it, they will know that you don't know who they are, or you don't have a reason and you're just making something up out of the thin air. Like, they can tell if you don't do that well. And if you're getting desperate, it will show. Pick certain places that you would want to work for, and then tailor your CV to be them. Do research on the company. So if you are to get a phone call, you're not going to be dazed and confused about who they are, or what position you applied for, or what they were looking for. Be sure to retain information about them. Don't just apply because you're desperate and you need something. Like, don't. As much as you will get to that point when you get desperate, don't do it. Don't do it. Tailor your CV. Know the companies you're applying for, so that if you do get that phone call, you're going to sound better than anybody else who applied. Because there are lots of people who just spam everybody, who have absolutely no experience. They're not qualified in any way possible. They don't even know anything, but yet there they are. They're there. They're wasting their time. They wasted their own time. Don't do it. Another tip is know your strengths and know your weaknesses. Be honest if you get asked either of those questions. Personally, I love it when they don't ask, because those are my two hardest questions to answer. But if you look at the job description beforehand, before you get your call for your interview, you can see what they're looking for, the qualities that they're looking for. If you have one of those where you're really good at it, make that your strength. And then I saw this tip from just some girl on TikTok. Make your weakness something that doesn't relate to the job. For your weakness, pick something that's truthful. Try to make sure that it's not related to the job, but that might be harder than it seems. So just be sure that what your weakness is isn't in their, like, what they're looking for, or even in anything in the job description. Just pick something that's not in there that you're bad at. And don't be like, I'm lazy. Yeah, no one wants to hire a lazy employee. So don't ever use like lazy or like really negative things as a weakness. Try to be like honest about it. Like for me, mine would probably be patience. Yeah, and the best way for you and to get a job is to not only be applying for things that you're actually qualified to do, and you're doing the whole making sure that your resume fits the job that you are applying for, and the company. Another thing that might help that, because those things should help you get the initial interview, may not. There might always be someone who's better than you, who's more fit for it, or at least looks better on paper, so they might just disregard your CV entirely, because that's just life. So if you do all those things, that might help you get that interview. And if you do get that interview, as long as you be sure that you're confident in your skills, you're confident in yourself, and even dress well. If it's going to be like a phone interview, maybe get dressed before you answer it, just so that you feel a little bit better. Because sometimes putting on like that suit coat or a dress or just something fancier than pajamas or sweats or whatever you've been lounging around in your house in, maybe even jeans and a t-shirt, if you just put on like a blazer or just something to make yourself look a little bit like more dressed up, it might raise your confidence a bit, your confidence in yourself. And yeah, And another way that could also be good is you can just Google search some good like interview questions that you might get asked, and then rehearse your answers to yourself in your mirror, making eye contact with yourself. Because honestly, if you talk to yourself in the mirror, you can become a lot more confident and a lot more confident in what you're saying and come off as confident. And you can hear how you're answering the question and whether you're doing a well job and whether you would hire yourself for that answer. And you can like manipulate it. You definitely don't want to get to the point where you're rehearsed on it, but at least you have an idea of what you're going to say and how you're going to sound when you say it. But if you're someone who's really not comfortable talking to people, or like you get really awkward in like interview situations, do that. Put yourself up to the mirror, act like you're in an interview, talk to yourself. That's honestly why I can do YouTube and sound okay, because I do this. I've done it. It's an acting technique, actually, to go and you look yourself in the eye in your mirror and you say your lines that way. So you hear yourself, you see yourself, you're seeing what's going on, and you do that. Oh, like honestly, the reason why my video quality is poor, because I'm doing that right now. I can see myself right now. I prefer doing it like this, so then I know I'm in the frame, I know what it looks like, and it'll get flipped and weird in the thing, but this way I know what I can see, because I'm filming on my phone. If I got like a camera, I would definitely be like having the screen face me so I can see what I look like, even though like, yeah. Which isn't also why I look at my lens and I look here, because I'm looking at myself, not at you. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but it's a really good trick as to how you can become more confident and more confident with what you're saying and what you're talking about, is just talking to yourself in the mirror. It's going to be super weird, but trust me, it works. It works. It's what actors do. It's what people probably do if they do a lot of public speaking. Like, it's a really good way to see what you look like, see how you're sounding, hear how you're sounding, and like showing off the body language that you're giving, everything, if you do it in front of a mirror. And don't want to become fully rehearsed on your stuff, but at least if you know kind of what you're going to say and how you're going to say it, it's going to be a bit better. Just don't also sound rehearsed, because then that's just weird. Especially in an interview. It's like, oh, you were expecting me. It's like, yes, haha. Yeah, no. But I hope those were helpful. I might leave some tips that I missed in like the description box below, so just check that out. There's places for people to go and find jobs, mainly for foreigners. Czechs, if you are here and you're watching this and you know of some other places that are good to check as well, or even good for Czechs to check. That's funny. Anyways, just leave them in the comments, because let's be more helpful than hurtful and help people get better lives. And you know, another thing is, if you are ever in a position where you're not happy in your job, always just keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for what's around the corner, because even if you're happy or you're unhappy in your job, keep an eye out on what's on the market. You might find something better that you might actually want to do. Even if it's not like the end of the world if you stayed in your job for another 3 years. Like, it doesn't hurt to keep your eye out. I keep getting jobs sent to me all the time, and I just look at them occasionally. And see you guys 2 weeks from now, where I'll be talking about how to get a house. Or no, not how to get a house. How to rent an apartment, or what to expect when renting an apartment. Potentially before you move, but if you are already here, there'll be links and stuff so you can go apartment hunting as well. So see you guys in the next one. Bye. Go check out this playlist of Czech videos here, and you can just scroll through my channel